Bienvenidos a este nuevo vídeo de Devir TV. Estamos aquí en el stand de Devir, en la feria de Essen, y tenemos una compañía gratísima. We have Asger Harding with us. Hello, Asger.
Hello, nice to meet you.
How are you?
I'm very well.
Well, we are ultra pleased to have you here in our stand. Flamme Rouge has been published by us in our country recently, and people really loves it. So it's super good that you are here.
Spain is a big cycling country.
Yeah, yes. You know it.
Yes.
So how is the fair going by now?
Very busy, lots of meetings, showing lots of new prototypes to publishers, so things that maybe not will become games in 2 or 3 years.
Hope so.
Yes, hope so.
Well, but Flamme Rouge, it's like a thing that it's getting a lot of expansions, and the family is growing, so you must be very happy with it.
I'm very, very happy, yes.
It's your principal game?
Yes, it's the, I have 10 games out in stores by now, but this is the one that's making the most sales, doing the best.
Great.
Making most people happy.
Okay, and you are from Denmark?
I'm from Denmark, Copenhagen, indeed, yes.
We don't know many authors from there, so...
There's quite many of them,
really?
Yes, yes.
So how is the board game thing in your country?
In the last 4 or 5 years, it's really grown a lot. Mm-hmm. We have, I think, maybe the largest board game cafe in the world in Copenhagen.
Oh.
They have 320, I think, seating places and 3,000 games. Woo. You just walk in, play games all day, and if you arrive on a Saturday, they open at 12. If you arrive at 1 o'clock, there are no tables.
Wow.
Okay, all 300 tables are gone. Okay, so it's really booming, and there are lots of designers making lots of games. So yeah.
Great. And you look pretty young. When you started to make board games?
That's a good question. I started maybe 6 or 7 years ago, really making games to try to get them published. But I spent 15 years of my life playing Warhammer with small toy soldiers, and I made rules for that all the way, and made tournaments, etc. So I've been designing games for, I don't know, more than 20 years. Yes, some way or another.
Okay, and then you decided someday to make a game about cycling,
yes,
and bikes.
Yes.
How this idea came?
Actually, I remember it quite clearly, almost to the date and where I was sitting, because it was me thinking about the Dominion.
Okay.
In Dominion, which is a deck building game, what I liked to do the most was to take the chapel and make deck thinning, right? To make a small deck and make it effective.
Yeah.
And I thought, why can't I make a game just about that? And in Flamme Rouge, each turn you remove a card from your deck, so you get less and less cards. Of course, sometimes you get exhaustion, which means you add it back in, but that was the inspiration.
Dominion.
Well, wow. the mechanic of it, and then
Dominion.
then I thought about it, right? And what represents in real life when you have something and you use some of it every turn. For me, that's like energy. Right? It's natural that you spend energy. Mm-hmm. And in cycling, you both spend energy, but you also want to save energy, right? So it means you had this interesting thing of spending it, but don't spend most at the start, save a bit, make the others work. And as soon as the idea came, the idea for making 2 riders, so it's a team sport, and exhaustion and slipstreaming are the 2 natural next step thoughts. And all this was I sat by myself for half an hour, and most of these ideas came in that same place. And the mountains and such were later, but yeah.
Okay. You ride bicycles? You are cycling in
I live in Copenhagen.
Yeah,
it's
all the time.
Bicycle capital of the world. Maybe there are some Dutch cities once in a while, but so yes, I've always been biking everywhere.
Okay.
I was quite old before I got a driver's license. I was almost 30. But I don't ride race bikes. I just bike for transportation.
Okay,
yeah.
But you are a fan of biking
Sure,
tournaments?
I watched watched some of the Grand Tours and one-day races. I love watching Paris-Roubaix, the big race on the cobblestones every year. And now every year we're meeting with a group. We're 12 players playing Flamme Rouge with the peloton expansion. Everyone has one rider only, no team, so everyone's only fighting for themselves, 12 players. And we watch the game, the race at the end, and we play at the same time, 12 people. It's fantastic.
Wow,
it's
super cool. And then, since the beginning, you were thinking that it would be a race game, but without luck, without dice, with hand management. Well, there's a bit of luck, but not that much.
Without dice, yes.
Without dice.
With the hand management. The thing about using a deck of cards, which is also what is working in Dominion, is that the deck of cards remembers what has happened, right? So this remembers what energy you have used, but it also remembers if you have been exhausted. So the way the mechanic works fits the theme, in my opinion, and others have said so as well, quite well. The fact that it actually remembers it. And of course, when I had this thin it, use energy, spend energy, for me, I thought about cycling, and So of course it's a race game when it's cycling.
And all the point that it's like a cycling game, but it's oldie, it's like retro.
Yes.
This was also something that you wanted, or it was from the...
It was my idea. Most of the cover and art direction on it was also my idea. I think what I wanted was to get a little bit away from where cycling is today, and more make it people think about the heroic, great challenges that have been in the past, like the nostalgia of the race, not just the current events, etc.
Okay, well, the art is gorgeous. I suppose that you are super happy with the product.
I'm very, very happy with it.
Yeah, everything is super beautiful. And what is for you the best way to play Flamme Rouge? Because you can play a single race, but you also can do a kind of campaign or tournament.
I'm not lying when I say Flamme Rouge. I will play any way possible. Right? I will play it one player solo, and I will play it 12 player. Okay, I'll play anywhere in between. But the ones I play the most, I do have that Paris-Roubaix race with the 12 players, but mostly I play 6 players with a Grand Tour, and once a year I do a 21 stage Grand Tour with a group of 6 players. We all meet up 4 times over the summer, and we do all the races with exhaustion and timetables and everything. Yeah.
That's cool. The point that you keep some exhaustion when you do some races.
Your legs are tired the day after.
A bit tired, yes. And what can you tell us about the expansions that exist of Flamme Rouge?
There are 2 expansions out, and one of them is just released today at Essen. Météo, which means weather in French. So it's a weather expansion. And the basic idea is that if you have a track, then when you play that stage, if you play it again and again, it will be the same layout. But if you add weather, you can play it again and again and again, because each time maybe the wind is here, or the wind is different, or it's raining someplace. So the challenge is always a little different.
Okay.
So it adds a replayability to what you already have, if you like Flamme Rouge.
It brings a little bit more difficulty.
Yeah, and a little. Sometimes you can make an attack if there's a crosswind and they can't catch you, like in real cycling.
Okay.
You have to watch out for where the weather is and what's happening. And if you don't, then someone else might attack and you get lost behind and you lose the race.
Very cool.
And it's only 10 euros. So it's a very, very good expansion. The peloton expansion moves the base game from 4 players to up to 6 players, and adds the rules where you play with 1, so you can go all the way to 12, and also has the solo rules, so you can go all the way to 1. And then it also, most importantly, adds the cobblestones, so I can make Paris-Roubaix, the race with lots and lots of cobblestones, where you the track gets small and you get narrow in all out on a line. I love it.
Something that we have been saw in our country is that there's people that never played board games or just little, but they are appealed of this game because they like cycling.
Yes.
And it's a good gateway game for new players. That's something that you were thinking when you created?
Very much.
Very much.
In very many different things of it. Because if you're a game designer, it can be tempting to say, okay, here we have cards. Why don't I put in 110, right? And maybe change the decks and make them even more different. But I wanted it to be just 3 different numbers and the 5 different numbers and 3 of each. So a simple system, easy to remember once you've learned it, of course. And it's the same here, but of course the cards are different. But many of these things were made that way exactly to keep it easy.
Okay.
Not all tie breaks and different small rules for, yeah, you're in this lane and this lane. I didn't want it to be, many racing games in my opinion become counting games, right? They become, I'm here and I try to count, do I want to go on the inside or on the outside, and depending on where I go, it becomes very fiddly, right? Where here it's, all decisions are made at the same time where everyone is making decisions, so there's very little downtime, and once you have made the decision, you cannot choose where you go, you just flip the cards and this happens. So there's no extra complications after it.
A situation that sometimes happens when I play is like you think that you will never have enough cards to go to the end, but you always have.
Yes.
It's very good thinking that the number.
There was a lot of counting for the race on how long the track should be.
Yeah.
Right. Once in a while, people do run out of cards. It happens very rarely. But
very rarely.
Yes.
Then you have to take fatigues.
That can happen. And when I play with my group of friends that have played it a lot, it never happens.
Okay.
So it's only if you make mistakes early on, etc. Literally, when we do the 21 stage races, when we've done a few of them, it has never happened. Not once.
I would like to congratulate you for keeping it simple, because it's very elegant and it works very well, and it would be easy to make it a bit more difficult at things, but it's super good, well shaped, rounded.
Thank you.
So,
and I think, in my opinion, also the expansions are also quite simple.
Yeah.
Right. Of course, it's just 5-6 players, and a lot of the new rules are just like, it becomes a little narrower or a little wider. So you don't even have to tell new rules. You can look at it and you can see what it is, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, and there's something that you are working on that we can see on next month or something.
Next year, the publisher has agreed. We have not found the final thing, so everything can be delayed and etc. etc. But there's already the free app where you can use the Grand Tour. But that we will make a Grand Tour expansion with special powers for riders. So you will start making it where you can make it complicated, right?
Okay.
So people will have cards that maybe they can play it, and normally you can only move 5 in a mountain. But maybe if you play this special 6, you can move 6 in the mountain. But maybe I can move 10 with my sprinter. Right, so different types of riders.
But like, riders that have permanent ability, you mean?
Well, new cards.
New cards.
Yes.
New cards.
Yes. They lose some cards, they get some new cards.
Okay, then different decks for each player.
And then, of course, the Grand Tour expansion and some rules for like the mountain jersey and the sprint jerseys. Like in Grand Tours, it's not just about who wins. There are lots of competitions in cycling, which is, in my opinion, what also makes it a great sport. Because when you're watching, it's not just one team is winning. Each day they're fighting for a win, and each day there are many small competitions inside that race. So there's always something for people to fight for. And the same for me works in the Grand Tour when we play it like that.
Wow, I'm hyped now.
Okay, I'm happy.
Thank you very much, Asger, for your time.
Yes.
It's been a big pleasure to meet you, and thank you for your games.
Yes, I hope it will be keep being a big hit for you in Spain.
Have a great fair, Asger. Thank you.